for our campers on the call and former campers and families, I imagine you might be going through a bit of what honestly I have been going through in recreating this program. And really it is the stages, not grief, but a little bit, right? That like, oh, this is different. Like, how do I feel about this? Like, there's lots there. And I want to share a story that if you've been on my TL calls, you've heard. If you haven't been on yet, you'll hear it again. Because I've been really going through myself of like, what does camp mean to me when it looks so different? At this point, I am such a traditionalist as long as I've been here. So I've needed a way to reframe it. So I have alumni. I love my alumni, and they will tell me this story in the 80s when they had to drain the entire lake, the Woodward Reservoir, to fix the dam. So all the campers came to camp and there was no water. It was like an ugly, smelly mud pit, right? Looks gross. And I'm assuming at TL being TL, the first couple of days were like, this is a bummer. And then at TL being TL and probably IB and TF and BDC, they like went and played in the mud and they started finding like decades worth of like glasses and like goggles and stuff that had been dropped. And this thing that was like the worst thing ever in hindsight, when those alumni talk about the summer in the late 80s, it has become like a epic, you had to be there. You had to like witness this different experience. And it's almost like a badge of honor. And so for me, I'm really entering this, and I think many of the other directors, like, this is a special edition summer. This is a summer that like, it's gonna be different, but it's gonna feel like your camp. What we're doing is not changing, it's the how we're doing it. We're still singing, we're still in silent meeting, we are still doing all these things. And that reframing of like, oh, it's a special edition summer, for me has released the like, it doesn't need to be perfect, because like I'm given permission to change, because in 22, knock on wood, we'll be back to regular edition, right? Which is cool, fine, great. But like special edition has like the shiny gold foil on the box, right? It's a thing. So as you're going through these feelings of like how things are shifting, I really encourage to like think about it in that frame. And for so many of these questions that's starting to get camp specific, please do reach out to your director and we'll be able to say like, this is what it looks like, right? And I think lastly, with this idea of the cohorting, what's helpful for me is I teach middle school in Brooklyn, and middle schoolers are delightfully weird. If you're a middle school on the call, you know it's true. If you have a middle school at home, you know that's true, right? And I fully expect after all this time that we have been in small tribes of 3, 4, 5 people in our houses, we're all gonna have a little bit of social awkwardness, right? Our social skills can be a little rusty. And I expect that with my campers as well. So actually starting in small groups, rather than saying, you've been with 4 people, now please join 150 people at once. I don't think that's good for kids. And so I actually really think the small groups are gonna allow us to slowly get back in, to slowly make those connections, to meet new people that aren't your family and say, all right, cool. Like I can do camp again. I can do this. And so it's a lot of change. Please do reach out to your directors. We're here to help you and answer all your questions on how will this be an epic but different special edition summer.